boys and girls. So today I'm going to make a video where I'm going to review how to solve 4 types of problems with fractions. I'm going to add fractions with like denominators for you. I'm going to subtract fractions with like denominators. And then I'm also going to review adding and subtracting mixed numbers. And remember, a mixed number is when we have a whole number and then a fraction, which I'll delve into a little bit more when I get to that problem. And then you may ask yourselves why I'm posting the same video in the lesson plan for the rest of the week. It's not a mistake. It's because this video is going to review the different types of fraction problems that you have to solve, so that way you have everything all in one place and you don't need to go into Google Classroom and search for the video. It's all going to be right here for you. Okay, so the first problem I want to review, which I already created a video reviewing, is adding subtractions with like denominators. So in the last video, I wrote a word problem involving a sandwich, and we actually had to find an equivalent fraction for 1/2 in order to add our fractions. So today I'm just going to write 2 fractions for you with a like denominator and then show you how to add. So if I have 3/12 plus 4/12. All I would need to do is add the numerator, which is the 3 in the first fraction and the 4 in the second fraction, because the bottom number in my fractions is the same. So that means they have like denominators. So 3 plus 4 is 7. So my answer is 7/12. So my next problem is going to review subtracting fractions with like denominators. And the steps are really the same as when we add fractions with like denominators, only now we're going to subtract. So the word problem I wrote for you is Marie Ray had 5/6 of a sandwich. Enzo ate 2/6 of the sandwich. How much is left? So if we wanted, we could draw a picture. I could draw a rectangle to represent my sandwich, and then I could divide it into 6ths, because that's the bottom number. That's the denominator. That tells me how many equal pieces make up the whole. Bless you, Matthew. So,
Thank you.
I'm going to stick with how we learned this in our classroom. We can make thirds, and then we can divide each third in half to make 6ths. And then Marie Ray ate 5/6. Or Marie Ray had 5/6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She only had 5/6 of the sandwich, and then Enzo is going to eat 2/6. So I'm going to cross out 2/6. So that leaves 3/6 left. Or some of you could even write your answer as half of the sandwich left.
Wait. This is good. This is good.
Because 3/6 is equal to 1/2. So the equation that I used to solve the problem is 5/6 minus 2/6. We could look at this equation and say, okay, my denominator is the same, which means all I have to do is subtract the numerators. 5 minus 2 is 3, so we get 3/6. So now I'm going to show you how to add and subtract mixed numbers. So I'm going to start with addition. So remember, a mixed number is a number that has a whole number in front, which means if I have 4, that's 4 wholes that are shaded, and then 5/6 would be shaded of the 5th hole. And then for 2 3/6, that means I have 2 holes shaded. I'm thinking of rectangles in my mind. And then 3/6 of the next hole. So I could draw a picture, or I could look at the denominator and see that they're the same, which tells me that all I need to do then is add the numerators, which are the top numbers, because the denominators are the same. So I could start by adding my whole numbers, which is 4 plus 2, which is 6. And then I know my denominator is going to be 6 because both of my fractions have 6. And then I could add my numerator. 5 plus 3 is 8. And then in the classroom, we talked about this kind of fraction too. When the numerator is greater than the denominator, so 8 is greater than 6, we call that an improper fraction. And I can convert that to a whole number in a fraction or a mixed number by drawing a picture. So I have 8/6. There's my rectangle. I'm going to divide it into thirds. Divide each third in half to make sixths. And then I need to shade 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Uh-oh. I need to shade 2 more sixths, which means I need to create another picture. I'm going to divide my second whole into sixths. And I've already shaded 6. I need 8. So now I need to shade 2 more. So this picture shows, I'll put a plus sign to show we need to add. We have 1 whole and then 2 sixths. If I counted each smaller piece in my whole, that would give me 6 sixths, and then 2 more is 8 sixths, which is where the improper fraction came from. So now that we know that 8 sixths equals 1 and 2 sixths, I could add that with the 6. So now I get 6 plus 1. Here, I'll write it over here for you guys, actually. 6 plus 1 and 2 sixths equals 7 and 2 sixths would be our answer. There we go, that's better. 7 and 2 sixths would be our answer, or you could even write your answer as 6 and 8 sixths. My last problem. So I just reviewed how we add mixed numbers. Now I'm going to review how to subtract mixed numbers. And I gave you guys a tricky one because this problem has 1 whole number, 5, minus the mixed number, which is 2 1/3. So in the classroom, some of you may have remembered that we used a number line to show this because we can't just do 5 minus 2 because that doesn't take into account that there's a third here. We have to subtract from the 5. So in the classroom, we used a number line to help us with this. So here's my number line. I'm going to put 5 here, and then I will just count down. Here's 4. I know I need to subtract 2 1/3, so that means if I'm starting with 5, I would write my 5 here, and I'm going to go down to show how I can use jumps to subtract. So here's 4, 3, 2, 1. And then now I look at the fraction. So 1/3 means that each whole is divided into thirds. So let's start over at 1 and count up actually. Here's 1 1/3, 1 2/3, and then 1 3/3 would be 2 wholes. And actually, I'll go back and I'll label each part or each third with a different color so you guys can see this between whole numbers. And then I have 2 1/3, 2 3/3, or 2 2/3. Okay, and then I'm going to divide the 3 and the 4 into thirds. So I have 3 1/3, 3 2/3, and then 4 1/3, 4 2/3. Okay, so here's 1 1/3, 2 2/3. I wish I had more room. This is one issue with not being in the classroom, and I apologize, but I will make sure I say each fraction when I'm subtracting. So here's 2 1/3, 2 2/3, and then 3 wholes. And then 3 1/3, 3 2/3, and then there's 4 wholes. And then I have 4 1/3, 4 2/3, and then 5. Okay, so remember when we use our number line, we use jumps to show our work or our thinking. So here's 5 minus 2 1/3. I'm going to start at 5 and I'm going to jump 2 wholes. I'll subtract the 2 first. So here's minus 1 whole, minus another whole brings us to 3. So I just did 5 minus 2, but now I need to subtract the 1/3, which means I need to jump 1/3. So if I'm at 3 and I jump a third, that would bring us to 2 2/3. So that means 5 minus 2 1/3 is 2 2/3. So I hope this review video helps you. What I did today with the mixed numbers is what you guys are going to do a few days from now. But like I said, I wanted to make sure I have everything for you in one video. So all you need to do is access this video to help you understand what you're doing in your Google Forms for the day. I will see you guys on Friday at 10 o'clock for our Google Meet. I miss you all so much. Keep up the great work. And remember, as always, if you need help with anything or have questions, you can type them in the questions about the lessons tab, or you could have your parent email me and I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. Okay.